In the name of Allah, the most gracious and the most merciful. He is Allah, there is no one but He, the knower of the unseen and the seen, the most gracious and the most merciful. He is Allah, other than whom there is no deity, the sovereign, the pure, the perfection, the bestower of faith, the overseer, the exalted in mind, the compeller, the superior. Exalted is Allah, to whatever they associate with Him. He is Allah, the Creator, the Inventor, the Fashioner. To Him belong the best names. Whatever is in the heavens and earth is exalting Him, and He is exalted in might, the wise. Jazakallah.
Jazakallah khair, Master Afan and Master Yusuf.
Debate is contention in argument, strife and dissension in a deliberate assembly. It is a method of formally presenting an argument in a disciplined way where two sides oppose each other.
In the words of Jim Lederer, a debate has one purpose only, and that is to facilitate the exchange of ideas between two candidates. That's it. We have before us a group of exemplary debaters who have been selected among numerous students from Indian schools all over the western region of KSA.
They will be exhibiting their oratory skills, challenging their opponents to a war of words, where only three best speakers from each side fallen against will qualify for the final round of inter-school debate competition. Allow me to now introduce the topic for today's war of words. Education is the most powerful weapon to fight against all evils.
As we start the proceedings of the debate, we would like to brief you all about the rules and regulations. The order of speech for each team has already been decided by the drawing of lots. Each participant has been given a code number which will figure in the judges' evaluation sheets. The participants must not reveal their names or identity at any time of the speech.
Each speaker will be allotted 3 minutes to deliver the speech with a grace period of 15 seconds to conclude his or her speech. A warning bell will be rung at the end of 3 minutes. The second bell indicates the expiry of grace period of 15 seconds. The third and final bell will be rung at the end of 3 minutes and 20 seconds. If the speaker continues to speak after the third bell, it will result in his or her disqualification. The main speeches will be followed by a rebuttal session. The speakers will be given a 5-minute interval for the rebuttal. Each speaker will be given 1 minute 30 seconds for the rebuttal.
The order followed for main speeches will be followed for the rebuttal session as well. The evaluation scale is as follows. Analysis of topic, 10 points. Diction, delivery and presentation, 10 points. Relevance of the material, 10 points. Evidence and allusion, 10 points. Logic and reasoning, 10 points. Rebuttal, 10 points. Participants should not take any material to the podium for the main speeches. However, they can take notes to the podium for the rebuttal.
The decision of the panel of judges will be final and indisputable. 3 individual prizes will be awarded to the 3 best speakers from both the teams for and against. The first 3 best speakers from both the teams for and against will represent the Western region for the finals.
Healthy debating enforces critical thinking principles, looking at things from different angles with increased perspective and less prejudgment. In all debates, let truth and truth alone be the aim, not victory or an unjust interest.
Dear audience, take a deep breath, fasten your seatbelts as the highly electrifying war of words begin. I now request the first participant, F1, to enlighten us with her speech.
Education is the most powerful weapon. It can change people, communities, entire nation, and the future of humanity. Respected dignitaries, honorable members of the jury, worthy opponents, and the audience, a very good morning to one and all. Today, I, Speaker F1, strictly stand for the notion that education is the most powerful weapon to fight all evil. Before I start, what is education? Education is often misunderstood. According to the classic definition of education, it is a process of giving or receiving systematic instructions, especially done in schools and colleges. Well, education is not just me learning how to make a balance sheet or me differentiating between which is carbon and which is nitrogen. No, education goes beyond what takes place in a four-wall of a classroom. Education is me inculcating moral values, positive thinking, attitude of helping, instruction, skills, along with sine, cos, tan, theta. Now, you may ask me how education can be a weapon. Well, there are a lot of problems in our world, such as gender inequality, overpopulation, pollution, global warming, sexism, racism, terrorism, and many more to name. And the only effective solution for all these problems is education. Consider, if a person wants to solve a particular problem, he or she must have basic idea about what the problem is. And where do we get this from? Education. Thus, education plays a key role in addressing problems. Education can also cure economic inequality, racism, sexism, and it also bolsters our national security, saves democracy, and strengthens our moral fabric. You know, blind faith and superstitions are what bogs down our society. Well, and people misled by all these false beliefs, they do more harm than good to the society. Here, education, it makes me question. It gives me an analytical mind to question and to ask for logic and scientific reason behind every action. According to UNESCO, education helps in the reduction of poverty, provides national improvement, gender inequality, women empowerment, and also sustainable management of natural resources, and of course provides peace and justice. Now, I would like to conclude my words by saying that education is not just to fight. It saves and transforms life. And my worthy opponents, you are still trying to convince us that education is not the most powerful weapon to fight evil. Well, I think you should rethink. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for proposing your opinion. I now call upon A1 to take a stand on the podium.
A man who has never gone to schools may steal from a freight car, but if he has a university education, he may steal the whole railroad. Respected dignitaries, honorable members of the jury, and my fellow debaters, may peace and blessings be upon you all. Today, I stand here to oppose the motion, education is the most powerful weapon to fight all evils. We are in the process of being indoctrinated. We are being educated to sing. It is a self-perpetuating system. We are being patterned and molded to fit into the narrow and particular needs of the powerful 5%. You see, complete education covers up the power to tell the good from the bad, the genuine from the counterfeit. The honest truth doesn't count at all. Education promotes no mistakes and has punishments for it. Well, hello, my dear opponents. Where is the saying that learning comes from mistakes? A sense of cohesiveness was once a strength that people could draw on in the past. Now the different doctorate degrees make it difficult for people to participate in society, heightening the sense of isolation, exclusion, and finally damaging reckless situations. We go with the idea that the more education you have, the more successful you are, and yada yada yada. There's pressure on people to go for more and more to the point where there's such a shady ways to achieve the evil goals. Nothing is more important than me, myself, and I. Pursuing one's own desires regardless of the potential harm to others, the decline of values such as honesty, tolerance, empathy, respect, and reciprocity isn't just a minor concern anymore. Why is the problem of poverty still remarkably persistent even today with the so-called high educational advancements? Involving in corrupt and unscrupulous situations and covering them up is certainly well done by the highly educated. People with a proof of being educated in institutions tend to be stigmatized rather than encouraged by the so-called educated ones. Injustice, discrimination, and racism are all social cancer, slowly breaking down social bonds, creating an increasing sense of unease, helplessness, and hopelessness. If we are drawing up racist policies, I don't see how we are doing enough to tackle racism at all. Looking into the case of Singapore, the government promoted a sense of collectiveness and provided people with a living, rather than encouraging on the educational front. And look how far they are now. We overcome the vicious things in this world only when we will be more aware of its surrounding situations and people. What we have to learn to do, we learn by doing. I conclude by saying, in my opinion, education is not a weapon. Education is not a weapon. Rather, it is a process of learning how to outsmart your classmates and ultimately the law.
Thank you everyone for stating your views. I now request the audience to please maintain silence. Next to take over the dais is F2.
The great social activist who once took a bullet to save education, Malala Yousafzai, once said, "One book, one pen, one child, and one teacher has changed the world." Honorable dignitaries, respected members of the jury, my worthy opponents, and the dear audience, Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to one and all. Today, I stand before you to speak for the resolution on the topic, education is the most powerful weapon to fight all evils. My opponents are in a dilemma on such a simple and straightforward topic, which has only one answer. My opponents must remember that it is only due to education that they are able to stand on the stage today and express their concerns, voice their views, and analyze the topic properly. There's a very famous Italian proverb: give a man a fish, and you fed him for a day. Teach a man how to fish, and you fed him for a lifetime. This quote shows the importance of education. Education is what helps us differentiate the good from the bad and the right from the wrong. This, my worthy opponents, is the first step in fighting all evils. We must know what is good for us and what is not, what is bad for us and what is not. Imagine if Nelson Mandela was not educated. Do you think he would have been able to free South Africa from apartheid? I don't think so. Well, according to the World Bank, over the past 3 decades, over 1 billion people have lifted themselves out of poverty, which is a record number. The global electrification rate is at an all-time high of 89%. Access to clean and safe drinking water has increased from 76% in 1990 to 91% in 2015. How many of us, in the middle of an examination, got stuck on an MCQ and bubbled in the answer our heart said was right? How many of us as children used to do akkar bakkar to know what to do and what not to? Well, this is still being followed by many uneducated people in taking major decisions of their lives. How has education helped in eradicating all sorts of evil? Education has reduced poverty and unemployment levels to a drastic rate. My opponents must remember that the most educated countries in the world are also the most developed ones. Yet again, I say education is the most powerful weapon to fight all evils. Education has established gender equality and women empowerment. Education has given us our very own rights, due to which we can be able to stand on the stage today and express our concerns. Hence, I conclude that education is in fact the most powerful weapon to fight all evils. Thank you and have a nice day.
Thank you F2 for voicing your opinion. Next comes E2 to put forth her ideas against the motion.
The present education system is not striving towards intelligence but intellectuality. That is, who memorizes the most. Good afternoon, respected judges, audience, and my worthy opponents. I stand here to speak against the motion. Before I begin with my speech, I would like to tell you that knowledge, intelligence, and wisdom are three different things. Education gives us knowledge, but not intelligence or wisdom. Intelligence is an inherent skill that cannot be taught. It comes from experience. Being evil is an act that originates from lack of intelligence and wisdom, which is not provided by our education system. I personally do not deny the fact that through education, students become uplifted. However, this is not their personal betterment. Most of the people get educated just to be able to make a living. People hardly care to change the world with education. There are many universal goods like morality, truth, compassion, which can be considered as weapons to destroy the evils. Unfortunately, the modern educational curricula just ignore these very important aspects of life. Do you know, in 20th century alone, more than 108 million people died due to war? Where? In the most developed and educated continent on the planet. Yes, you heard it right, the most educated continent on the planet. And hasn't the world witnessed how Hitler used his scientists to make nuclear and chemical weapons? Reports suggest that the number of casualties due to war were highest in 20th century alone. It was the time when it must have been the lowest. Also, the sixth most educated country is the largest nuclear power in the world today, and that's none other than USA. Now talking about social evils like poverty, education still has less role to play. There are millions of educated, unemployed people out there caught in the trap of poverty. Education cannot create well-paying jobs for them. All it can do is give expectations to the poor, which are not fulfilled. In 2012, 394 people between the age of 18 to 30 were arrested because of cybercrime. A fact, all of them were educated. From a young age, students are taught about the harmful effects of drug abuse, alcoholism, smoking, so that they don't get involved in such evil acts when they grow up. Yet, it is so prevalent in the society. Every fifth person in the world smokes. So now what do you think? Is education able to eradicate poverty, unemployment, violence, corruption? No. I would like to conclude my topic by raising a question to my worthy opponents. Can any one of you name one major socio-economic evil that education has completely wiped out from the surface of this planet? Thank you.
Thank you, E2, for presenting your views. Next in line is F3 to speak for the motion.
Grade 1. touched inappropriately. Hashtag child molestation. Grade 6, I was taught that my gender, faith, and ethnicity do not dictate my rights. Hashtag discrimination. Grade 10, I was taught that my voice matters. Hashtag me too. Ladies and gentlemen, respected dignitaries, honor panel of jury, and my worthy opponents, a very good afternoon to you all. The topic of today's discussion, education is the most powerful weapon to fight evil. I stand here vehemently defending the proposition. The first thing that strikes my mind when I think about education is knowledge gain. Allow me to explain this by throwing a small fact. Kerala is a unique example where the literacy rates have improved from 58.5% to 93% in a span of 20 years. But at the same time, the poverty rates have declined from 59% to 11%, which demonstrates the fact that it is education which has played the key role in making Kerala the most literate and the least able state in a country like India. Now, since none of us here are statisticians, my opponents surely have to resort to the internet to pull out these facts and figures that they so proudly state. Let me tell you something. Computers are programmed using algorithms. Algorithms were created by AI, and AI was created by science. So if you're still keeping up with all this, isn't it the peak of hypocrisy to use this scientific education for your means, while at the same time disagree on it being not a powerful weapon? Had my opponents paid better attention in the 9th grade class, maybe they would have thought better than coming up with these logically fallacious arguments today. Because to say that education is not a powerful weapon to fight evil is not enough. To say that education is the leading cause of evil is a tantamount to claiming that knowledge is a destructive force. Subtly, the belief that a woman who has lost her husband has no purpose in life and thus has become alive. Untouchability, the inhuman idea of purity. Such insanity is truly crime against humanity. Child marriage, a ridiculous pleasure at such a tender age. Skipping to the last age, leaving behind an innocent childhood and a rebellious teenage. Human trafficking, putting a price tag on a human being. For forced labor and hellish living, corruption, racism, terrorism, and an endless list of crimes. The chills just run down your spines. Why is it that you're disgusted by the thought of these evils, yet they did it unapologetically for so long? I wonder what has changed the difference between right and wrong. I ask you, what is the difference between this generation and one back then? Spoiler alert. Education. Thank you very much.
Thank you, F3, for expressing your viewpoint. Now I call upon A3 to express her beliefs.
Education, academics, marks and grades. Is that the perfect path for a righteous living? Respected panel of jury, teachers, my lovely audience, and my worthy opponents, a vibrant afternoon to all. Government employers, police officers, major world leaders are highly educated. But does that stop them from being corrupt and immoral? The answer is a big no. Education in the modern day scenario is nothing but a barrage of bookish knowledge. Education has become the weapon of choice for all the malicious masterminds who seek to manipulate and dominate the less fortunate. Tribals, who we consider as backward and illiterate, are not the ones who destroy the forest and wildlife. According to the University of Maryland, about 100 trees are cut per minute. What does that basically mean? You see a forest out of your home? Boom, the next minute, it's gone. It's an educated and developed world that destroyed the lifelines of a beautiful planet we call home. The man who invented nuclear bomb was educated. The man who invented Kalashnikovs was educated. Most of the dictators of the world are educated. But what's the point? They cause a gazillion times Andhra, Kerala, with a high literacy rate of 93.1%, this very so-called highly educated state consumed intoxicants and alcohol worth 487 crores during the Onam celebration. The entire Chandrayaan 2 mission cost this same country only 978 crores. Well, my dear misguided opponents, this truly shows how great of a part education plays in fighting all the social evils. Let me leave you all on a thought. India is that one country where education and academic accomplishments are looked upon as the most important. And not surprisingly, Indian students score one of the highest marks in the world. But even then, I wonder if my worthy opponents can answer these questions. Why is there still so much corruption in India? Why is pollution still widespread? Why is India lagging behind hundreds of other countries in development? My dear friends, you don't need to waste your time listening to my educated opponents. In this modern era, the thirsty crow no longer drops stones to the empty jug. Instead uses a straw. The slow and steady turtle roots off on a scale to the finish line. Thank you.
Thank you, A3. Indeed, we can feel the excitement in the air. To keep up with the spirit, here comes F4.
I am Speaker F4, and I hope all of you are having a delightful, jubilant, ecstatic, elated, vigilant, enraptured, euphoric, joyful, guiding, blissful, and pleasant day. All thanks to education. I have the wisdom to not use these words too often, because some people just wouldn't understand. All of us here, in one way or another, are working towards a degree or diploma of sorts, right? Well, our worthy opponents here are trying to tell us that we are committing a crime. You don't believe a degree or maybe a diploma could go around slitting people's throats now, do you? I mean, even educated people like ourselves will have trouble following such nonsense, my worthy opponents. And I say this because Heinkel Bryant has found that just one year of education can improve one's decision making. And that in the long run, it bolsters up labor market results, reducing unemployment and poverty. Also, the Literacy Center has found that just 25% of prison inmates are literate, in contrast to the 65% adult literacy rate, clearly displaying that literate people know to choose right over wrong. And that is why I, my dear friends, am seated on this side of the stage. Education is clearly no evil, but rather an aid to the environment, as 98% of public high schools consider global warming an element of their curriculum. A question for the masses: should we estrange ourselves from environmental education just because our worthy opponents have their wheels spinning but the hamster dead? Ladies and gentlemen, there is currently a war going on around the world, a clash between education and social evils. Who's winning though? The National Journal of Community Medicine has found that 97.9% of school-going students were aware of female feticide. 86.59% were given this education in schools. And when questioned about our population, they said 2 children, complete a family. If these numbers appeared in my CBSE board exam results, I would be a hero, magician, Guruji. But when it comes to education, my worthy opponents just neglect them. Well, I guess the wheel had to stop spinning sooner or later, right? Dear friends, oh my dear friends, you need to understand that when the question of education is raised, your simple and wise answer lies in knowing that education has brought us here from where we were decades, centuries, and millennia ago, and that it will continue to take us decades, centuries, and millennia into the bright future. Thank you.
Thank you, F4, for conveying your perspective. Here comes A4 to advocate his sentiments.
Adolf Hitler's Mein Kampf is the best known and the most popular Nazi text ever to be published. German politician, leader of the Nazi party, but the most monstrous and terrifying leader in the 20th century, led his nation into disastrous war and triggered the extermination of millions of his own citizens. An educated leader, the perpetrator of Holocaust and evils. Good afternoon, respected members of the jury, honorable dignitaries, teachers, friends, and of course my worthy opponents. Today I am here to speak against the given proposition that education is the most powerful weapon to fight all evils. At the outset, let me ask you a question. If education is the movement from darkness to light, then why is the whole world reeling under the curse of female infanticide, child marriage, dowry debts, corruption, adulteration, and so on? A mother of two has been starved to death, reduced to a bag of bones for not fetching the dowry in Kerala. A state with high literacy rate. Times of India, December 23, 2013 reports that the purpose of education is to make people social beings. But statistics show that 30% of the crime involved by people who are highly educated. Why has the education system failed? The parents and educators are expecting their children to run in the rat race and reach the top rung of the ladder come what may. Values these children to be instilled have taken a back seat. As a result, they are handing down the legacy of selfishness, materialism, and instant success. Of course, many nations boast of many of their educated presidents, prime ministers, and civil servants. But why don't they bring a sweeping change? Therefore, friends, education is not a magic wand which vanishes all into society. Think about the professions in medical science. Daily we hear umpteen number of tragic incidents due to the growing materialism contrary to the Hippocratic oath. But oath turns to hypocrisy. A stream of degrees doesn't educate the hearts of the people. My worthy opponents, has the Western education with all its technological advancements eradicated evils like ethnicity, racism, and discrimination? America, the land of free, is the most armed nation on earth. Gun violence in America has become a national security emergency. Why? APJ Abdul Kalam has rightly said, if a country is to be corruption-free and become a nation of beautiful minds, I strongly believe that there are three key societal members who can make the difference. Father, mother, and teacher. Educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. We are all like the popular frog in the boiling pot scenario, in which the temperature rises ever so slowly to cook the frog, who doesn't even notice it. Come out of your utopia. I rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you, A4, for setting forth your views. Here's yet another participant, F5, to showcase the audience with her words.
Before I begin, let's keep in mind that today my educated opponents are sitting in an educational institution in front of an educated opponent trying to convince educated judges that education is not powerful. Hypocrisy at its finest. Let's begin. Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon to one and all. Twinkle, twinkle, little star is not going to help us fight terrorism. Neither is quantum physics going to help us eradicate poverty. I say this because we need to differentiate between literacy and education. Literacy is knowing that tomato is a fruit, but education is knowing that you don't add it in a fruit salad. Dear friends, what we call evil is simply ignorance bumping its head in the dark. And I expect my educated opponents to know that the opposite of ignorance is knowledge, which we get from education. LHS is equal to RHS, hence proved. Now, why has the evil practice of sati been burned by its own fire? Why is racism not considered a criminal offense? Why is untouchability no more? And lastly, why is slavery as non-existent today as Thanos? I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Booker T. Washington said, education is not a system. It is a direct teaching of how to live. Nelson Mandela said, education is the most powerful weapon to change the world. Dr. Ambedkar said, eat less, but make sure you get educated. These were the thoughts of great people on education, who fought and won against social evils. And here we have much greater people who say that education is not the most powerful weapon to fight all evils. My dear friends, education is the passport to the future, but most of my opponents are stuck at the airport. Thank you, education. We no longer consider a black cat as bad luck because we know that's racism. And we no longer hang lemons and chilies in front of our house for protection because we know a CCTV camera would be a better option. Do you know that prisoners in Finland are not tortured, imprisoned or locked up in jails, but rather they are taught how to read and write, taken to libraries and are given homeworks. Let me tell everyone present here that Finland has one of the lowest crime rates in the entire world. It has rightly been said that he who opens a school door closes a prison. All is said and done, but my opponents are still at the airport. Oh wait, I just got a call. Guess what? Their flight is also cancelled. Thank you.
Thank you, FI, for voicing your beliefs. Next, we have AFI to deliver his speech.
Now, before I start, I'd like to ask you all some questions. When our parents were about our age, was the world the same as it is today? The answer would probably be no. Were there as many wars as we witness today? No. Was it as ugly as it is today? No. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, honorable members of the jury, respected members of the faculty, dear friends, and worthy opponents. Today, I'm going to share with you why education is not the greatest weapon to fight against evil. First of all, let's consider the infamous Mr. Ted Bundy, who was responsible for the murder and rape of 23 innocent young women. He was denied love from his family when he was younger, hence causing his mental instability. Now, before you all start thinking, what does he have to do with education? Ladies and gentlemen, he held a degree in psychology and a diploma for legal proceedings. If you don't mind me asking, where were his degrees and diplomas when he committed such heinous acts against humanity? In the present age, where most aspects of our life, like our food, clothing, money, etc., are controlled by the internet, cyber crimes run rampant. According to a survey conducted by Factly.com between 2011 and 2015, the cyber crime registered in our country has gone up to 5 times. There are also cases of cyber terrorism, which cause loss of life or significant bodily harm. Tell me, my worthy opponents, would such acts of crime, fraudulence, identity theft, or terrorism be possible without education? Let me rephrase that. Can your precious education fix such atrocities against humanity? If yes, why hasn't it succeeded yet? Ladies and gentlemen, Mother Teresa once said, spread love everywhere you go and let no one come to you without leaving happy. Ladies and gentlemen, she proved that education is not necessary to fight against evil. She used her unfaltering faith, love, and compassion to give hope. Hope to those who had it stripped away from them because they weren't treated equal to those who are educated. Ladies and gentlemen, education, in my view, is not the greatest weapon to fight against evil. It's love. With love, we can fix everything wrong in our world, and I finally have a chance to grasp something our forefathers tried to get through centuries of education. And that's peace. Don't take it from me. Take it from Shakespeare, who once said, without love, peace is just another illusion. Thank you.
Thank you, A5, for voicing your sentiments. And with this, we come to the end of the first session of the much-heated debate. Those were truly thought-provoking and enlightening arguments that have indeed created a buzz all around.
The power of real debate is in the language and intellectual honesty of the debaters, alongside the engagement of audience. Now let's proceed to the highly anticipated rebuttal round. Rebuttal is essentially an attempt to contradict or disapprove an argument by offering a counter-argument or a countervailing proof. Before we proceed, let us review the rules for rebuttal speeches.
The speakers will be given a 5-minute interval for the preparation of rebuttal, at the beginning and end of which you will be notified. Each speaker will be given 1 minute 30 seconds for the rebuttal. The order followed for the main speeches will be followed for the rebuttal session as well.
Rebuttal is a countervailing part of the evidence and a rationale proposed by the opponents. It should not be an extension of the main speeches. Participants, your time begins now. Students are kindly requested to remain silent as participants prepare their counter-arguments.
I would now request F1 to come and reassert her opinion.
Good morning once again. My opponent has tried a lot to prove the point. But the number of times they have proved the point and the number of problems which have solved without education, a big zero. Exactly. And one of my opponent told that the person who created nuclear weapon was educated. Well, I'm sure he had a degree in science and all, but he did not have moral values. Hence, I disagree with your point. And I heard someone talking about love and peace. Well, how did you get to know this much about love and peace? Education. And you still blame education for that? Pathetic, pathetic. And about drugs and alcohols. Well, education always taught me to differentiate between which is right and which is wrong. And if you're not using it properly, well, you decide who to blame, education or the person or yourself. And some of you, it was education and not education system. Well, some people, everyone gets education and people tend to misuse it. Well, you have to decide. What you get is what you get, but then it depends upon you how you use it. You decide, use or abuse. Thank you.
Thank you, F1. The next participant, A1, will now take over the lectern.
Good afternoon all once again. My opponent did give some really good figures, facts, reports. Well, you can live in data sheets all day if you want, but me and the other 7.7 billion people in this world have the misfortune of facing reality. Your implication that poverty can be eradicated by education is totally blown out of proportions. Let me give you an example. America, Canada, educational hubs of this world, right? Well, 3.4 million Canadians and 1/3 of the US population is still under poverty. So my dear people, you can decide if education is powerful enough to remove all the evils in our world. And you talked about the difference, if the world was the same as it is now and before, well, ego barrier is the worst thing. And if our learning was different, we would have learned from mistakes and not from our books and all these things. And I feel like you are stuck up with that. Thank you.
Thank you, A1. We now call upon F2 to reinstate his opinions.
Good afternoon once again. One of my worthy opponents said that education is striving towards intellectuality and not intelligence. Can you please explain to me why the JEE toppers are given so much credit for their intelligence and hard work and not for their memorization power? JEE halwa hai kya? Well, the major leaders of the world, you call them corrupt people. Well, who voted them in? Was it the educational masses or the uneducated masses? Education has also made us environmentally conscious and is the foundations on which other things are built. Many of my opponents blamed Kerala
blamed the 93% literate population of Kerala for the mistakes that the 7% uneducated population did. How can you justify that? Well, most of them said about Hitler as well. Who forced the scientists to stay in Nazi Germany? It was Hitler himself. They mentioned Hitler so many times. Can any one of them say about the educational qualification of Hitler himself? Well, most of them may not be able to say this. If you truly believe education is not the most powerful weapon, then please do answer which is the most powerful weapon which has no roots in education, which can substitute education in our very own lives. There are many teachers over here. I want to ask a simple question. What do they give to us? It's only education. In this way, you're contradicting the teachers themselves. Hence, I believe education is the most powerful weapon to fight all evil.
Thank you, F2. Next in line is A2 to present her rebuttal against the motion.
I believe education creates employees, not employers. Good morning once again. As one of my opponents said that education helps in eradicating poverty and unemployment, I would like to bring up the point of artificial intelligence. Humans, or let me say educated humans, are making new kinds of machines and robots each day. And these machines are replacing the human workforce in all the sectors, leaving millions of people unemployed without any job. So we actually see a relation between education and unemployment, which further leads to poverty. And haven't you heard of the 1,000 cases of corrupt officers who are educated? But wait, how can we expect education to destroy all the evils when the education system itself is telling us to get indulged in evil activities? The private sector has made education a business. Their main interest is money. Even the dumbest student is able to get admission in good colleges with the help of money. So now what do you have to say? And what do you think of the trend that people are becoming half human, half machine and building mega destructive deadly weapons which could easily destroy our planet? Doesn't such education destroy humanity here? I would like to conclude by repeating my question once again. Can any one of you name one major socio-economic evil that education has completely wiped out from the surface of this planet? Still, there comes no answer. Thank you.
Thank you, A2. We now call upon F3 to insist on her claims.
Good afternoon to all once again. What if my opponent mentioned on how education is not a magic wand that vanishes all evil? You're not being serious, are you? Because it is education that cuts down social slavery and brings up the downtrodden masses to come up and gain social status, economic betterment, and political freedom. Clearly something my opponents fail to look after them. Another opponent of mine emphasized on how statistics have shown 30% of the crime involves educated people. It is upsetting to watch them emphasize on 30% of the educated population involved in crime and disregard the rest of the 70% of the population not involved in crime. Clearly, common sense doesn't seem that common on the other side.
Another opponent of mine stressed on how could education fix all the evils.
Let me make it easier for you by quoting in the words of Malala Yousafzai. With guns, you can kill terrorists, but with education, you kill terrorism. 171 million people could be lifted out of poverty if children's left with basic education. Yet, my opponents come up with this age-old thought that education is not a powerful weapon to fight evil. Dearest opponents, you need to focus on improving your arguments rather than raising your voices. Because remember, facts are not based upon your feelings. Thank you very much.
Thank you, F3. We now call upon A3 to reaffirm the argument.
Of course, we all heard an entertaining story from the other side. Well, my dear opponents, this is not a storytelling competition, rather is a debate competition. Respected judges and motivating audience, once again, good afternoon. My so-called right-thinking opponents claim about the growing concern for global warming, care for the environment and its consequences. Well, how many of you road cycle from your home to this auditorium today? None. None of my worthy opponents work for it, but just claim it. The magicians, heroes, and gurutis confidently stated that education helped to fight against female feticide. Guess who performs devotion? An educated doctor. I also stand strongly against the point that education helped to fight against pollution. China, with a high literacy rate of 96.4%, leads 1.6 million deaths per year in the country. It's always in a fact that the number of deaths China will have to face will be the number of subscribers PewDiePie has at present. In case you believe on Iraq, it's 100 million. Ladies and gentlemen, education teaches you how to stand. But to see the rainbow, you must come out and you walk few steps on your own. Thank you.
Thank you, A3. Here comes F4 to advocate his sentiments.
Why are educated people involving in corruption? Well, if a flower doesn't bloom, you gotta change the environment. A very good afternoon to you all. Education hasn't done anything to stop racism? Well, sorry to say, but when we compare 200 years ago and present day, I'm very sorry to say, but this would have been an auction for black slaves, my worthy opponents. What we need to learn, we learn by doing, is the opinion of my worthy opponents. Ever heard of vocational education? Moral values are used to fight evil. Guess where I learned to be punctual to school, self-discipline to walk in a line, and to clap for others when they give a good point. For every one example of Ted Bundy and Adolf Hitler, my worthy opponents, I can give you 10, 100, 1,000, maybe even 10,000 people who are successful, all thanks to education. And finally, love is the most powerful weapon to fight all evil. I wonder how my worthy opponents could give love to a terrorist holding a gun to his head. Poof. Their pointless arguments would go down right then and there. Thank you, and hope you are smart enough to understand the pointlessness of their arguments.
Thank you, F4. Here comes A4 to reassert his notions against the topic.
Good afternoon once again. My knowledgeable opponents are so sure that all evils like child labor, corruption, human trafficking, child molestation, etc. are eradicated. Spoiler alert, education? Let me ask you, in that case, are we all living in heaven on earth? Why is that all nations are in chaos due to wars, terrorism and political turmoil? For example, our own motherland India. Truth is known to all. A land with great culture, brotherhood and harmony, spearheaded by many educated people. But now, where are the democratic values? And aren't we all proud of our technological advancements? Innocent children are victims of violent video games like Blue Whale, Fire Fairy and so on. The so-called computer wizards have brought such havoc on adults and children. Cyberbullying, hacking, etc. are everyday incidents. What legacy are we handing down to future generations? Scorched earth? Topsy-turvy universe? Daily we witness inhuman merciless actions, crime against women, child abuse, rejection of old people and so on. You know, if you take a 50-real note and a 50 halala coin and you drop them both simultaneously, it's obvious that the 50 halala coin will make more noise. Well, that's my worthy opponents. All they do is make noise. To conclude, education that does not involve honesty, kindness and generosity, people accumulate degrees just for minting money would never eradicate an evil. It's not too late to give up your prejudices. Thank you.
Thank you, A4. Here's yet another participant, F5, to deliver her rebuttal.
need to be eradicated as soon as possible. 1. Poverty. 2. Illiteracy. And 3. My opponent's thoughts. Good afternoon once again. One of my opponents said that education is not the most powerful weapon to fight all evils. It is love. Well, my dear opponent, love is blind and knowledge is light. One of my opponents also asked, was the world as ugly as it is today? My dear opponent, no. It was much uglier. With all the slavery, racism and wars, it was. Now, one of my opponents constantly kept asking if anyone can give me even one social evil which has been eradicated because of education. You asked one, I'll give you two. Sati and untouchability. One of many, not one, has given me statistics that most of the countries who are educated are involved in crimes. 65% of the countries who are educated are involved in crimes. Well, there are three kinds of lies. Lies, damned lies, and statistics. I urge you not to believe that. To end, I like to say that with guns, you can kill terrorists, but with education, you can kill terrorism. Thank you.
Thank you, A5. We would now request A5 to come forth and reassert his viewpoint.
Ladies and gentlemen, my opponents don't know the difference between education and knowledge. Education is where you sit through grueling hours of school, do dreaded examinations, and follow a confining syllabus. While knowledge is what you earn through life experiences, success, and failure. Moral values don't play into it. I thought common sense was pretty common, but it seems that's the only thing that we're able to prove wrong today. Now, one of my opponents said that if education was given to everyone, that would literally eradicate crime. When I say terrorist, what's the first name that pops onto your mind? Osama bin Laden, right? Yeah. He had a degree in civil engineering, yet he laid the foundation for Al-Qaeda. Now, one of my opponents also talked about untouchability and racism, and educated people don't believe in these things. Well, let's talk about Donald Trump then. Yeah. Alright, one of my opponents also said that doing the quick living start isn't going to stop terrorism, neither is education. That's all I have today. That's my case.
Thank you, A5. And with that, this electrifying debate comes to an end. It is rightly said that thoughts transformed into words and words when put into action change the course of the world. Today, this debate has indeed transformed our thoughts. We would now like to introduce the worshipful speakers of the day.
From the 14th we have F1 Nooreen Subair Al Mawarid Leading International School Jeddah. F2 Shah Mohammad Ubaidur Rahman Radwa International School Yambu. F3 Khatija Surur Khan Al Falah International School DPS Jeddah. F4 Mohammad Rayyan from New Al Marud International School Jeddah. F5 Aisha Jamal from International Indian School Jeddah.
From the against team, we have A1 Umaira Al Mawarid Leading International School Jeddah. A2 Shifa M Sheikh Radwa International School Yaqub. A3 Shia bin Siyas New Al Marud International School Jeddah. A4 Ernest George Al Falah International School DPS Jeddah. And A5 Sharon C International School Jeddah. Has organized youth leadership training programs for 500 IISJ students and 200 Saudi students in Aramco's and Ministry of Education gifted student program in the last 6 years. Professionally a construction manager with 30 plus years experience, he is working as a consultant in the King Abdulaziz University. Thank you, sir.
Professor Anwar Bilgrami is from United States of America, who is working as a professor for biology and scientific research advisor in the King Abdulaziz University, Jeddah. Prior to joining King Abdulaziz University, Professor Bilgrami was working as a professor of biology at the prestigious Rutgers University in New Jersey, USA. He has successfully looked after various scientific research programs, research grants, research awards, international collaborations and policy matters at King Abdulaziz University. His academic career has involved many events and programs to improve scientific aptitude and temperament of students. May I now invite Professor Bilgrami to express his opinion on today's war of words.
Good afternoon, Assalamu alaikum. The first thing that I want to say is, it was, I guess, 11 o'clock in the morning when I said good afternoon. And the reason was because I was thinking it is already 12:30 because I started feeling hungry, so I apologize for that. It should have been good morning in the morning. Second thing which I really want to share with you, I like this proposition of the afternoon session, putting emphasis on education. Although I was in conflict with my belief as an educator and a professor to judge anything against education. And I was in dilemma that how should I judge people who are sitting over here? Believe me, I gave numbers whatever you deserve. But that was hard, I think, not only for me, but I think for everyone who is sitting here to judge a person who is speaking against the importance of education. So I guess that we, the judges, have done a great job in judging these guys rather than them. But I congratulate again with all the participants who took part with, solid preparation. They had the knowledge, they had dedication to express their feelings, whatever they have learned and whatever they have collected going through the literature and other knowledgeable stuff. So all I can say is give you good wishes, especially to the students and also the teachers of this school for their real hard work in organizing this event, which in my view is really very important. And I thank you all, especially the management, principal of the school, and the chairman of the highest management committee, Mr. Danish Babu. He's here, and I'm really thankful that you took some time out to be here, and Dr. Zia, besides all the teachers and the students. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words. Our next judge is Mrs. Fatma Ali, the Vice President of Meet Artist Center in Saudi Arabia and UAE. She is the Program Director of the leading full-time progression program, LTAR MA, in education offered by the University of Derby, UK and LRN, a UK accredited body. Her core expertise is teaching training and education leadership. Having more than 15 years of national and international teaching experience, she is currently a candidate for her PhD in Education Leadership and Management from a leading UK university. Mrs. Fatma has won several awards, such as the Best Business Leader in the field of Education Management, and has been nominated to receive the award for the Outstanding Women in Education for 2019 this year. May I now invite Mrs. Fatma to express her view on the topic.
Very meek response. You have not had your food yet? High school students are supposed to have the maximum amount of learning. There's no applause. Come on, round of applause for our speakers. Pretty good. That's the kind of energy we are looking for, especially when you're looking off the season. Now that you're graduating, there's some things that you should know. Being the past president for several organizations, and wow, that whistle, who did that? Being the past president for several organizations, I've learned something very, very important. Okay, this is not a lecture, but let me tell you something. Education is definitely the fundamental base, but not everything. We need vocational training. We need creativity, we need real-life experiences. Everything is based on this, premise. It's more like a framework that actually makes an individual. Although I do this several times a year, I present in conferences, but the moment I come to this podium, it is, the same feelings will come back, nervous jitters. So again, a big round of applause to our speakers. We spoke about education. It was difficult to mark most of them, and being a past IISJ alumni, and 17 years ago I was a part of this institution, and coming back here was definitely astounding. To see my juniors all right here, and also from different schools. DBS, my sister studies there. So we all have a relationship with one another. So I wish you all the best. But always remember one thing, everyone. Education depends on the educator. Yeah, it does not end at all. If you are an influential educator, you have your own mentees who actually keep the process going. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your motivating words. May I now invite Member Higher Board.
Assalamu alaikum, good afternoon. At least these people were prepared. I just came here as a guest and suddenly I hear my name, and this is a game that I always played with me at IISJ. I am not new to the stage, and the point of repeating again, I will set up marks here for the dance programs and stuff like that. Today's debate was, I think it was an afternoon well spent, both for the motion and against the motion. I don't know, क्या दिल पे पत्थर रख के आप लोगों ने ये बोला कि एजुकेशन किसी काम का नहीं है, और इन लोगों ने पता नहीं क्या क्या सोच के एजुकेशन में ऐसी ऐसी चीज़ें ला के रख दी कि मैं खुद सोचने पे मजबूर हो गया कि ये कैसा एजुकेशन है जिसकी बातें कर रहे हैं. But having said that, I think both the teams did a wonderful job, and I cannot even empathize with the judges because it must have been a very tough decision. I thank the organizers of this zonal session, the principal, the vice principal, the teachers, and most of all, the students. It was a great feeling to hear these 10 students debate it out, rebut it out, and most important of all, educate us about the ill effects of education and the positive effects of education. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your encouraging words. Has finally arrived. We would like to invite our respected principal, Dr. Muzaffar Hassan, and Member Higher Board, Mr. Danish Abdul Ghafoor, to give away the awards. I would like to invite esteemed Member of Managing Committee, Dr. Prince Mufti Muhammad Ziaul Hassan, Vice Principal, Boys Section, Dr. Najib Faiz, Vice Principal, Girls Section, Chief Coordinator of the event, Mrs. Faratul Nisa, Mrs. Naheed Fatima, Coordinator and HM 9 to 12 block, Mr. Naufil, to the stage.
Good afternoon, everyone, and your patience for watching this event and the eagerly awaited moment for announcing the result. So I am here to announce the result. Before I announce the result for the winners for the motion and against the motion, I would like to tell winners do not do different things. They do the things differently. So every winner should keep it in mind, and those who have not won this event, those who have not got any position, they need not lose their heart, because by losing a battle, you are going to win a war. By losing a battle, you are going to win a war. So I salute both the regiments of debaters, those who have spoken in favor and those who have spoken against this motion. So I am here to announce the result. So I would like to announce the result for the motion. The third best speaker is Muhammad Rayyan, New Al-Warud International School. He has been awarded 160 points. The second best speaker is Khadija Surur Khan. She is from Al-Falah International School, DPA, Jeddah. She has been awarded 161 points. The first position holder who has been awarded the position of best speaker, Aisha Jamal, International School. She has been awarded 165 points. Now we have the result for the debaters who had spoken against the motion. The third best speaker is Shia bin Siaz, New Al-Warud International School. The second best speaker is Ernest George. 156 points. And the first position holder, the best speaker is Sharon C. 162 points. Thank you all the winners. Congratulations once again, and you have created the opportunities, because the opportunities never happen, it is created. Thank you once again.
Hearty congratulations to the winning champions who have truly dazzled us today with their grand eloquent Paro speech. I now call upon Master Vishal Faisal, the Literary Secretary of Class 12B5, to propose the vote of thanks. May I request all the participants to please come onto the stage for the group photograph. I now call upon Master Vishal Faisal, the Literary Secretary of Class 12B5 to propose the vote of thanks.
To speak and speak well are two things. A fool may talk, and a wise man speaks. Honorable member of the High Board, member of the Managing Committee, eminent principals from various schools, vice principals, our distinguished master, teachers, participants from prominent schools, and friends. Assalamu alaikum and warm afternoon to one and all. I feel immensely privileged to stand before you all to propose the vote of thanks on this occasion on behalf of the National Indian School Jeddah. Well, I should say it was a quite tough competition, isn't it? Let me first of all start by giving glory to the Almighty for making today's occasion a successful one. First and foremost, I'd like to thank the member of the Higher Board, Mr. Danish Gafoor, and member of the Managing Committee, Mr. Dr. Prince Mufti Zia-ul Hassan, who, despite a busy schedule, has found time to grace this occasion and be with us throughout the entire day. I'd like to also thank our principal, Dr. Muzaffar Hassan, vice principals, headmasters, for being with us throughout the entire day. Most importantly, I'd like to thank the panel of jury who are coordinating with us throughout the entire day. I'd like to congratulate all the individual champions and all the participants for being on stage. The aforementioned and competitors have put an amazing effort to come up front, but as always, it's a competition and there's always one winner. The lessons of competitions and lessons of life. Then I wish my deep sense of appreciation to Master Suhaib Zaid for welcoming the match by his vibrant speech. The planning started days ago, and I'd like to take a moment to thank the English department and even conveners who put an amazing effort to organize a clear-cut, coherent program. I extend my sincere gratitude towards each one of you present here for making this program a huge success. I would like to also express my gratitude towards IISJ recruiters, the non-teaching staff who helped for the immense contribution towards the school. So thank you for being with us today, and we wish the best for your future endeavors. Thank you.
People should debate. They shouldn't be afraid to talk. There should be an exchange of ideas and opinions because that's how we learn. And with this, I, Arpana Melanie,
and I, Aisha Khan,
take leave for today and sign out. Thank you and have a wonderful day.